It's the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. Good Thursday morning. It is July the 11th. Oh, we've got a lot to get into today. At 7:50, we're playing a game. We're giving away something cool. Name that animal noise. That's right. Name that animal noise at 7:50.
They're going to be freaky.
They're going to be.
I'm so stoked about this.
I know you are.
Yes.
Ryder, we're going to have to peel her off the ceiling. She came in this morning just grinning like a Cheshire cat.
Trying to make all these animal noises myself.
Yeah, man, that's exciting. I know the Fisher-Price thing. The cow says, if it's going beyond that, I'm going to be out of a job because I don't know. I got dogs, I got cats, I got the Fisher-Price cow. That's about as far as I'm confident. But at 7:50, we're doing that. Zepp is out today. Get better soon, brother. We hope to see him back in tomorrow. In the meantime, there are 5 things you need to know right now. The top 5 at 6. Let's just dive right in. If you found yourself over on Highway 5 yesterday afternoon, you were probably saying, what in the hell is happening? MSP International Airport officials closed entrances into Terminal 1 around 5:30 p.m. yesterday. That's a tough time to close a highway leading into an airport.
The pictures I saw on socials were ridiculous. It was just cars backed up forever. It wasn't even like you could circle and go around.
No, it was just a parking lot for quite a while. So 5:30 p.m. they announced they were shutting down Highway 5 due to a suspicious discovery in Terminal 1. There was an item that was discovered. No further details have been revealed as to what that may have been, although about 45 minutes later, they were like, all right, we're all good. So if you got caught out in there, sorry, bad timing for you. That's a rough one. Don't leave suspicious packages in airports. Can we just agree that's a bad idea?
Don't leave packages of any kinds in airports.
Thank you. Very good. Very good, Ryder. No packages allowed. Number 4 on the top 5 at 6, Team USA, the basketball team, the men's basketball team in the Paris Olympics, have to replace Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard withdrew from the Olympics to the shock of no one. My man just doesn't like basketball, I swear. Kawhi Leonard is an all-time woulda, coulda, shoulda player. I mean, he's got 2 championships. He's the Finals MVP twice. He's first-team All-NBA 3 times, second-team All-NBA 3 times, and still I feel like he's completely underachieving at all times. I don't know what it is about Kawhi. But anyway, that means Derek White of the Celtics will replace him. God forbid you put Jaylen Brown, the MVP of both the Eastern Conference Finals and the NBA Finals in there, the man who's worth $300 million. Now get Derek White in there. That makes sense.
Yeah, isn't that bizarre?
What? All I know is Ant-Man is on the team, and Ant-Man is still saying, I'm the number 1 option for this team.
I love that.
Watch a game in the fourth quarter when there's a minute left and the team's down 1. Let's see who takes that final shot. Something tells me LeBron's going to want to nudge in there a little bit, but we'll just have to see. I'm excited for Olympic basketball, though. It's going to be good. This is the most loaded team we've probably had since 1992's original Dream Team. Number 3 on the top 5 at 6, the Twins split a doubleheader yesterday with the White Sox.
How do you not beat the White Sox? They're so freaking bad.
Every now and again, you know, a blind squirrel finds a nut. Isn't that what they say? So the White Sox took us down 3-1 in the opener, and then the Twins came back 3-2. Without home runs, the Twins would have scored 1 run over the past 18 innings. But no, they are, thankfully, jacking the ball left, right, and center. Brooks Lee and Correa went back-to-back in the 6th inning of Game 2. Ryan Jeffers went an inning later. This is a home run smacking team. My goodness. 1 homer in at least one homer in the past 28 games. That's tying the Atlanta Braves from last year for the 2nd longest streak in Major League history. The Yankees have a 31-game streak. We'll see if the Twins can hang in there and keep hitting the long ball. Number 2 on our top 5 at 6. The U has expanded alcohol sales at sporting events. What could go wrong?
I think this just doubles down on a super long history Minnesota has of weird rules around alcohol. Like the no booze on Sunday thing just went away. You know, we're still one of the last states with 3-2 beer.
That's right.
Freaking weird.
Imagine my surprise when I moved here and bought beer at a gas station and went to a friend's house and he goes, "Where'd you get this?" And I was like, "At the gas station." And he just set it on the counter.
Yeah, that's not real beer.
Yeah, no, I had no idea. The Regents did approve a resolution yesterday. Will expand alcohol beverage sales not just at Huntington Bank Stadium, but also at Williams Arena and the 3M Arena at Mariucci. So this year, visitors will be able to buy ready-to-drink canned and batched cocktails in concessions and premium areas. 26-27 school year, alcohol sales to fans in stands and bleachers, like hawking, like beer, yeah.
Yes.
That's going to happen in 26-27 school year, although not in the student sections.
No?
No.
I feel like they get themselves covered. Anytime I'm walking around campus before a game, you just see people with beer in their back pocket, basically.
Well, that's why they don't sell it during the student section.
Yeah.
They know the kids are coming in juiced, as well they should. Finally, the number one on our top 5 at 6, Netflix has released Receiver featuring Justin Jefferson. 8 episodes of the series, all now on Netflix, follows JJ and 4 other receivers through last season. I haven't seen any of this yet, but quarterback a year before was fantastic.
I love quarterback.
Excellent.
Quarterback was great. If this is half as good, it's well worth your time. Devontae Adams, George Kittle, Deebo Samuel, and Amon-Ra St. Brown.
I'm so stoked about Amon-Ra, dude.
I know you are. You and your Detroit Lions. Jordan Addison was also at the premiere event in L.A. Tuesday night. He is not, of course, in the series. But if you want to hang out with Justin Jefferson for 8 episodes on Netflix, you are now able to do so. There is your top 5 at 6. If all the world is a stage, and if all the men and women are merely players, what is that? Wait, hang on. That's not the Shakespeare quote I was looking for. Which one was it? Oh, that's right. No, not that one. Now is the winter of our No. Oh, no, I got it. TV or not TV? That is the question.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It's Thursday, July the 11th, and right now would be a perfect time to head west. How about the Mike Evans Hollywood Report?
Hey, good morning, Steve and Zep and Tony. Good morning, Minneapolis, St. Paul. Hope you're having a great week. Boy, we start off with 2 very, very different Kevin Spacey nuggets. The joke is, when Kevin Spacey meets other gay people at gay parties, he would sometimes act like he's going to shake their hand, but instead would jokingly shake their genitals while laughing. And Kevin Spacey has been awarded the Italy Cinema Lifetime Achievement Award. Hey, I told you they were very, very different Kevin Spacey nuggets. We got a lot of TV news for you today. You might want to write this down. 3 weeks from tonight. 3 weeks from tonight, the first NFL preseason football game. The Houston Texans versus the Bears from Chicago. Hey, I'm always surprised at some of the shows that are renewed, TV shows. And here's a perfect example. Bachelor in Paradise? Been renewed for a 10th season on ABC. Oh, Pat Sajak is returning to host Wheel of Fortune, but only for a week of specials. Celebrity Wheel of Fortune. It's coming in December. By the way, the network is being bombarded by fans not real happy about Pat Sajak's replacement, Ryan Seacrest. Well, certainly nothing against Ryan, but on every single night, I don't know, little Ryan Seacrest can go a long way. Everybody loved Yellowstone, and creator, director, producer Taylor Sheridan's next guaranteed smash TV Western series is called Landman. And it'll star Andy Garcia, Demi Moore, John Hamm, and others. Described as a modern-time Western set on the oil rigs of Oklahoma. It's coming November 17th. Got some big movie news for you. So after the very disappointing box office of Kevin Costner's Horizon, an American Epic, Chapter 1. Horizon, an American Epic, Chapter 2, scheduled for an August 22nd release, has been delayed indefinitely. No surprise. Oh, get ready for Shrek 5. Shrek 5 with voices supplied again by Mike Myers, Cameron Diaz, Eddie Murphy. Production starts in December. Release 2026. Can't wait. And Jennifer Lawrence will star in Why Don't You Love Me? It's a movie, a sci-fi comedy from Paul Rainey's very graphic novel, and I can hardly wait. By the way, we'll have movie reviews and more surprises tomorrow. Have a great day, Mike Evans. See ya.
There's your Mike Evans Hollywood Report. It is Thursday, July 11th. Ryan Zepp is still on the bench, hoping he's back in studio with us tomorrow. Get better soon, brother. I mean, my God, let's get on with it, shall we? Big weekend ahead. More things to talk about a little later in the show. But right now, it's time for a look back. 7-Eleven, June the 11th, 110 years ago today, 1914. Babe Ruth made his Major League debut. He was 19 years old. He was pitching for the Boston Red Sox. He, of course, spent the first 5 seasons of his career primarily as a pitcher. And then I guess somebody realized, hey, he's pretty good with the bat, too. Let's have him hit the ball a little bit more often. There are still plenty of people who say he's the greatest player ever. These arguments are only make sense if you have to put them in their context, which is at the time he played, he was way better than everybody else to a level nobody's reached since. But if you put Babe Ruth in a game right now, he'd be lost. Let's not kid ourselves. But 110 years later, we're all still talking about him. Brooks Lee in the year 2001, 2134. If we're still talking about Brooks Lee, the Twins rookie, then he will basically have, some equivalence to Babe Ruth. It's hard to imagine someone 110 years later still being one of the faces of a sport, but that's the Babe. Let's see what else we got. On this day in 1924, a 22-year-old divinity student from Scotland named Eric Liddell set an Olympic record. He won the 400-meter sprint in 47.6 seconds. He did not compete for the gold medal because it was held on Sunday, and my man kept the Sabbath. They made a movie about him called Chariots of Fire many years later. If you remember Chariots of Fire, easily the high watermark for men running on a beach, at least until Rocky III came along anyway a few years later.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
This is the KQ Morning Show. It's Thursday, July the 11th. Good morning. Man, I hate being corrected around the house. I've been doing my own laundry since I was like 12. Okay, my mom, 8th kid coming along. She's like, I can only imagine the amount of laundry she had done in her life. And I was in about 7th grade one day, and she just said, honey, come here, I want to show you something. I said, what's that? And she goes, this is how the washing machine works. This is how the dryer works. You separate the whites from the colors. You go hot with the whites. Colors get cold. Boom, boom, boom. Next thing you know, I'm doing my laundry from that day forward.
Good boy.
And I actually appreciated it. And for years later, when I went to school at 18, I was like, it was like I understood the art of alchemy. I could turn base metals into gold simply by knowing how to do my own laundry. Like, guys in the dorm would look at me and go, how do you know how to do that? Like, like literally, like it was, I'm like, I don't know, like change a tire, do laundry. These are not that complicated. But anyway, I was sort of it was a special thing to be able to do your own laundry. So that said, all that to say, don't tell me how to fold my clothes, man.
No.
I've been doing this since the 70s. I ain't got time for people to tell me I'm doing something wrong. Don't tell me how to clean the counters. Don't tell me how to wash the pots and pans. I got my protocols are down for household chores. And yet, every now and again, I find myself being corrected.
Oh, yeah.
Worst of all, my own kids, who I taught how to do this crap, will occasionally go, what about that? What are you doing that for? My son busted my ass for how I was cutting the grass a couple years ago, and I'm still pissed off at him about it.
What'd you do wrong?
Well, I gave him very specific instructions on how you go about your business. You don't cut the grass in circles. Like, he loved the idea of just starting in the middle and just doing a wider circle, like all one thing. And I'm like, no, you just go, it's lines. You can go diagonally if you want, but you go up and back, up and back, up and back. And then if you're feeling really froggy, do it again. You know what I mean? Just cut it twice. Let's just make it real nice. Put the wheels a little higher the first time around. Anyway, we go through this whole thing. Mm-hmm. And then he looks out one day, and I, in a very small section of the yard, just happened to be doing something that looked like a circle. And he came out and yelled at me to the point where I had to stop. I turned the lawnmower off. I go, what are you doing? He goes, look like someone's cutting in a circle. And I was like, what are you and it just, I don't. And this is pandemic era. Well, I'm on edge anyway, but I just wanted to just throttle him. And chores around the house. There were times I would say, like, it's time to, we got to get the kids involved. They've got to be a part of these things. There was I had to dig a hole once. I don't even remember why. And I said, let's go. First time I ever put a shovel in my son's hands, about 30 seconds in, I went, just give me that damn thing. I was like, stop it. Never mind. Get out of here. I turned into my drill instructor dad.
Well, the bodies have to be buried somewhere.
Man, I was just so nuts. And I don't handle it well to this day. Rosemary gives me dishwasher protocol tips. And I'm like, I've been doing dishes since before I knew you. No one's ever complained before. What is this about me? Is it me?
No, it's not. My mom does the same thing, loading the dishwasher at her house. And I'm like, listen, if the dishwasher can't get the dishes clean no matter how I put them in there's something wrong with the dishwasher, not with me.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That completely makes sense. Tony, are you taskmaster general, or do you let the kids do it their way?
I like it. Well, if we just leave it to them to do it, they won't do it.
Okay, there's that.
I am a master folder. I learned from Pants Plus. I became very skilled.
That's right.
I actually like to fold.
Yeah,
I like it a lot.
I'm with you.
No, I'm told the proper and correct way to do things very often.
Wow,
yeah.
Man, I'm with you though. I enjoy folding laundry. It's truly like and to that, and I actually enjoy cutting grass. Like anything that starts with a little bit of it's a little dodgy, and then you're straightening it up and cleaning it up. Like a grass that's like the grass really looks kind of ratty, and then you look up an hour later and it looks nice. It just makes me feel good.
I
folding
did that.
A basket of clean clothes that's unfolded, you dump it on the bed or the table, and then you just fold it all, and then it's nice little stacks. That just makes me feel good.
I love to do that while I'm watching football. I love to fold laundry.
Yeah.
So I feel I'm being domestic
Yep.
and a tough guy football man at the same time, versatile.
Yeah, I like domesticated tough guy football man. That's definitely a lane I'm
That's
very
a new
comfortable
superhero.
with.
Yeah,
Very comfortable with that. In fact, there's only a handful of chores around the house. I hate raking leaves. I've hated it my whole life.
Hate it.
Cutting the grass, lawnmower, fine. Getting a blower, doing the weed eater, whatever. But raking leaves to me, man, it was just brutal. When I was a kid, we had 2 apple trees. And every now and again, it would be go pick up some apples because once they start falling, and then if you don't pick them up, they just melt. They get they decompose and it stinks and they get really weird. Picking up apples was like the equivalent. I mean, it was like just chewing foil to me.
Did the same thing. We had 2 apple trees in our backyard. And every time to cut the grass, there would be like applesauce on the lawn, just goop. Yeah. Oh, I hated it. And bees love it.
We had a golden delicious apple tree, and now that was great to have. And that bad boy was knocked over in a storm, and you've never seen. I mean, and my mom was crushed, and my 2 brothers and I were like, "Oh, this is the greatest day of our lives," knowing that we would never again have to pick up a bag of golden delicious. I still had the red apples to deal with, but that was great. So my chore thing is. I like it or I hate it. There's really no in between. Like I said, happy to fold clothes, happy to cut grass, happy to load the dishwasher, happy to do dishes by hand. Very happy to do that. If you ask me to dust something, we're going to throw hands. I hate dusting. And I love a well-dusted room, but I'm not the guy to do it, man. It's just not something I got in my game.
Do you put silverware up or down when you load the dishwasher? For tongs?
Always up until the kids started getting involved. And then I was like, I guess this is why you have to put everything down so little kids don't slam their hands in there.
Yeah, you reach in
but now that they're old again, I can't stand looking at a fork upside down in a dishwasher. I'm like, please, man, it's not going to get as clean to me unless those tongs are flying free, waving in the wind, if you will. It's like it's like an unfurled flag in there. It's like, come on, man, you gotta get this thing out in the open.
I read somewhere that you're supposed to alternate actually for optimum quality of cleanliness.
Oh, that goes back to Ryder's point. If I have to alternate my up and down fork tines to get it clean, then I probably need a different dishwasher. And I don't care if that's a different person or a different machine. Something has to change. But it's so funny. Like My dad was, we had to do everything a certain way at the house. And then there were a couple times when I would see him not doing it that way. And you'd just be like, do I say something? What are you cutting corners all of a sudden? It was like mind blowing. My dad was truly humbled once. He was Mr. Safety. Anything you had, we had extension cords for everything back in the day. You had the hedge trimmers, you had the weed eater, you had whatever you had, and we had these 2 giant orange extension cords. And he would always connect them, and where the 2 cords would connect, he would loop them around each other, like for safety or just to make sure that so it would never come undone. And he was a real stickler for, like if you're dragging an extension cord across the yard, make sure there's not puddles. You don't want to drag a cord, especially in the middle where 2 cords connect near water. Just good safety tip. One of the key memories of my life, one of the most jarring moments of my life is watching my dad with a hedge trimmer connected to an extension cord, and he dragged that cord right across the patio, right through a puddle. Oh. And it jolted him. I watched my dad basically electrocute himself.
You saw that?
He dropped that trimmer and he went down like a sack of potatoes. He just fell like a tree.
Oh, my God.
And was laying on the patio going, ah! It was enough of a shock to where he lost his footing and went over. And for a split second, I'm like, I think my dad just died. And then I realized, oh, no, he was really angry at himself. Man. And more than anything, just embarrassed because we saw it. We were like, are you okay? I'm fine. Get away. Like, nothing to see here.
He pulls up his trousers.
Oh, my God. He jumped up, and my mom comes running out like, what in the world? And he's like, the more people showed concern, the angrier he got because he was just embarrassed.
You didn't bring it up to like, hey, Dad, you shouldn't have dragged it through the puddle. You didn't do that, did you?
I'm still here. All right. Am I not? Okay. The fact that you're talking to me about this means I just kept my mouth shut. Man, that was intense, man. There was no correcting him, trust me. The only time we could ever correct our dad was if there was only one subject, and that was soccer. Because we all played soccer. He'd never seen it until sometime in the 70s. And then he would critique our games, and we could literally say to him, you don't know what you're talking about. Like, you don't understand. Like, he couldn't understand how you would run backwards and let someone dribble the ball towards you as you're waiting for a chance to then kick it away from them. He would like, attack! I played sweeper my whole life in soccer. I'm a sweeper. My brother was a striker, and I'm a sweeper, and we just played. And you spend a lot of time running right next to someone or running backwards, letting someone approach you, and you're waiting for them to make the mistake, over dribble, and then you take the ball from them. It's a step back, go. It's a pacing and timing thing.
Sure.
And throughout my entire soccer career, I would hear one voice above everyone else on the sideline, attack! And he would mention it every week. Why aren't you more aggressive? I'd be like, Dad, I took the ball away from the guy. You let him dribble into the box. I'm like, yeah. And then I took the ball away from him. I was waiting for him to make a mistake. Why don't you get more proactive? This conversation happened 100 times.
Going to all the soccer games for my boys, I always get a kick out of the comments that the parents make. There's always like, nice, be aggressive, stay with it, that type. One mom in the middle of the game yells out, just huge voice, breathe in through your nose, breathe out through your mouth.
That's great.
I remember her son just kind of stopped and went, what? And then kept running.
Mammals
go team.
She thinks her kid doesn't know how to breathe or what?
What does that even mean?
I don't know.
Mammals have a 4-chambered heart.
Oh, see, that's great.
That's what separates us from the reptiles.
I want to do that so bad.
You are warm-blooded, honey. You're warm-blooded. My school, I went to this little tiny high school. It was a private school, but it was not by any stretch of it was not blue blood. It was not like, the rich kid school. It was just let's try to actually teach people how to read a little better than the Kentucky public schools. It was that kind of school. Looking back, it was kind of a hippie school. We didn't recognize it as such, but some of the classes I took, I'm like, holy crap, man, there were some crazy ass 70s teachers things going on there. But we played soccer because we were the weirdos. Mm-hmm. And But in that school, we used to get made fun of. Like the public schools always make fun of the private school kids, and they would call us the nerds. And they would say, and we were terrible at basketball. And in the state of Kentucky, being bad at basketball is a sin. Like you go to hell. Like that's it's because basketball is religion in Kentucky. It's real simple. Adolph Rupp and Jesus are buddies down there. They're very tight. They grew up together.
Sure.
It's a thing. And but so we would get mocked constantly, and other teams would cheer. They had cheers about like, yeah, you got the SATs, but look at the scoreboard. Like they would make fun of us for being these nerds, but we weren't even really that. It wasn't that kind of school. It wasn't like a STEM academy or anything close to it.
Right.
Anyway, long story short, we had our own cheers to sort of mock them. Like, we're so smart. We had a cheer that we would use in high school games. When we were on defense, our entire our entire crowd would cheer, suppress them, relieve them of the ball. That was our cheer. And you just watch these people's, like, what are they saying? And it would just be a thing. And then we had mathematical term cheers. We would have, like one part of the crowd would all chant rhombus, and the other group would then go Google. Long before Google was a search engine, it was a giant number. And we would just go back and forth, rhombus, Google, and just to watch other crowds go, well, those so weird private school kids.
Hypotenuse, isosceles.
Exactly. Yeah, literally, we would just pull out words like that and chant them over and over and over.
Relieve them from their inadequacies.
And by the way, doing nothing more than proving that we were, in fact, the dorks and nerds that they thought us to be.
Of course.
These things happen. By the way, playing basketball. Soccer was okay because it was outdoors and it was a big field and voices didn't carry as much. Basketball gymnasiums, my dad, who had been a Marine sergeant, his voice carried over. There could be 2,000 people at a game, and I would only hear one thing.
That's great.
Rebound! I mean, above. It was the sound. It was as loud as an elephant blast. You could have brought in a circus elephant and had it trumpet, and my dad's voice would have been louder. No matter what else was happening in that gym. I mean, you could be. There could be a game-winning shot, and in the celebration, there'd still be some barking command from the, shake the ref's hand. What? Let me live my life. Man, it was just nonstop.
That's great.
Yeah. Anyway, we had to do things a certain way. There was definitely another rule in our house, and I'm sure many of us can relate to this. Penalty of death in the Gorman house. 2 things. Don't clean your plate. You're in trouble. And if you even think about touching that damn thermostat.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Don't even pretend you have a right to touch that thermostat. Let's discuss what one company's doing about that. Hang tight.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
This is the KQ Morning Show. It's Thursday, July the 11th. Rosemary and I went down to Nashville over the long holiday weekend, and we got back. Our son's living there at our place down there for the summer, and we walked in, and I walked upstairs, and it was literally 97 degrees upstairs. And I looked at the thermostat, and it said it was on, and it was supposed to be cool. But the AC upstairs had not a condenser. There was some piece of the AC thing had gone out, and it was no longer blowing cold air. And it's Tennessee in the summer. It was hotter than hell upstairs. And I walk downstairs, and I look at my son. I go, do you have any idea how hot it is upstairs? He goes, no. I go, have you been up there at all? He goes, why would I go up there? I mean, his room is downstairs. I go, well, I guess that makes sense. Like, you have no reason to be up there. But I have no idea now how long the AC's been out. And he's like, yeah, I mean, what's the big deal? I'm like, well, the big deal is I can't. It's Saturday, and now
the house is melting.
I got to call someone.
Come on, Connell.
Yeah, it's just horrific up there. Anyway, I did later think, well, I mean, it could be worse. He could have had it at 66 up there for some reason, and then the power bill's through the roof. Long story short, happy to say my kid doesn't touch the thermostat. He doesn't notice it unless it directly impacts him, I suppose. I grew up in a house where if you touch the thermostat, without exaggeration, it was a capital offense. I mean, shoestring budget, 8 kids. I've talked about it a million times, but that was one of those things, man. If somebody got near that damn thermostat at any time of the year, it was a real problem.
Did you ever dare to touch it, though?
Never.
And go through with it?
Not a chance. No, being the youngest, you watch, I had 7 older siblings just getting their asses kicked for a variety of offenses on a regular basis. You do learn early on, like, oh, my parents aren't. I mean, that's why you punish the older kids, so the younger kids learn their lesson ahead of time. I think
you know where the mines are.
Absolutely, and so I skirted a lot of the things that a lot of my friends were doing as like rambunctious preteens and then teens. I just knew there was no winning in my house. I didn't do a lot of things. I didn't get in a lot of trouble around the house just because I'd watched the older generation just get ground down. So anyway, all this to say, not only did I never touch the thermostat, I probably couldn't tell you where they were. Like, I just that's just above my pay grade. It was always the case. But it's a big problem with a lot of families. It's a big problem just within couples, you know? When Rosemary and I first got together, man, she likes it cold. And I'm like, what in the hell is happening in this condo? What is going on? Like, going back 30-something years, we were arguing, before we were married, we're arguing about the temperature in the house. I mean, it's crazy. Now, you see these things about smart houses and smart thermostats, if nothing else. You can program your thermostat so that it just comes and goes with your schedule. You go to work, it just automatically sets the temperature a little higher. There's a company in Oregon, and they've got a new smart thermostat program where they change the temperature in your house. You don't set it yourself. The company determines what to do with your thermostat. Basically, you install this smart thermostat, and you're going to pay a little bit less each month in exchange for letting the power company control your thermostat remotely.
Do you take that deal?
I don't. It says during peak hours, they up the temperature to reduce strain on the grid. So between 3 and 9 p.m., they're in charge of your thermostat. Do I take that deal? No. No way. No, not a chance. I'm sorry.
I'm living that deal, basically. Like, our thermostat is hooked up to my husband's phone. I'm fine, whatever. If I'm cold, I'll put on a hoodie. If I'm hot, I'll take off some clothes. Like, I'm just going to roll with it. I know, right? But yeah, it's hooked up. He pays that bill. I pay some others.
Okay.
It's hooked up to his phone, so he gets to decide what the temperature is like, and I'm cool with it.
Wow. Okay, I got you there. Fair enough. 651-989-ROCK is the KQ Talk and Text line. If you want to weigh in, feel free to give us a shout. Tony, who's on the horn?
Our buddy Tom wants to talk thermostats.
Tom, good morning, sir.
Hello.
What do you got for us, brother?
My dad used to be head of buildings and grounds for the General Hospital in Hennepin County.
Okay.
So he had females in his office, and one day they're hot, one day they're cold. So he had to call somebody up, and they would go and control the thermostat. So he had a dummy thermostat put in, and they could go and turn it down, or they could turn it up, and it made them feel better.
Sure.
Tom, this is a jerk move. I don't like this.
The placebo.
I was going to say the placebo stat is what you're telling me.
Yes.
And it worked.
It did cut down on them. It didn't do anything,
right?
But it just let them feel a little bit better, like they had a little bit of control.
Yeah, no, I mean, it worked in terms of it made everyone feel better. It didn't adjust the temperature at all. Yeah, boy, that's a tough one.
I don't like the trickery.
Yeah, that is malfeasance right there. That in 2024, that's a lawsuit waiting to happen. Tom, thank you for the call, brother. We appreciate you listening.
Yeah, but this was back in the 70s.
Yeah, no, of course. Yeah, a whole different scene back then. I mean, those crazy women with those wild temperatures, they couldn't even have credit cards. Why would we let them touch the thermostat?
Oh, how dare they have opinions?
The good old days.
Yeah, opinions about how our body feels. You don't know.
No, I'm just watching Ryder's shoulders. They're just tensing with every word. Just, I'm going to smack somebody with good reason. So the new Oregon version, by the way, back to this company with the smart thermostat, they do limit it to they only will make a 3-degree adjustment. So if you have it set at 71, they will set it no higher than 74. There is a program in Los Angeles that lets it that the company can give you a 4-degree change. If you're in Los Angeles, man, I mean, Death Valley this week's going to hit 130. L.A. itself is over 100 every day, week in and week out, just about every summer. The AC scene out there is a whole different animal. I can't imagine too many people are happy to let somebody else control the temperature. When you got 106 every day for 6 straight weeks, after a while, it's like, I'm sorry, no one's touching this but me.
I lived in Fresno for a while, and heat was an issue. We'd see triple digits every summer at least, and they're running out of energy, so they would do brownouts. Are you familiar with brownouts?
Sure, yeah, right.
So they're like, oh, we're gonna shut off the power for a couple of hours to certain areas that it's not going to cause too much commotion. Do you take the temperature control and give up the brownouts?
I would think that would be a better thing then. Take the temperature control. Don't give me the brownout. There was a few. We lived in L.A. and there was a few brownouts. I noticed never in Beverly Hills or Bel Air though. It's weird how that worked. They always seem to be just fine. 651-989-ROCK is the KQ Talking text line. Tony, who's on the horn?
Our friend Kim has commentary.
Kim, good morning.
Good morning, Steve.
What's up?
So, especially with that guy who said his dad had the dummy thermostat, I had a boss who did a similar thing to our office, and there was a lot of women that worked on our floor. Mm-hmm. And so he had a setup to basically trick us into thinking that he was changing it. And all that did was just gaslight all the women in the office.
Right.
Where we all were like, God, it's so cold here, but he said he fixed it. So it's not that it works, it's that they stop complaining because they don't want to seem crazy. And that's about the most evil thing a human can do.
That's official corporate gaslighting right there. That's exactly what
it
that
is. I actually took the initiative one time and went down to our maintenance office, and I demanded to them that they do something because it was so cold, and they said that we were doing nothing but complaining, and they had a heat map, and they pulled up our floor, and our floor was 15 degrees colder than it was supposed to be.
15?
Oh, my God. That's
And specifically our 2 offices that were complaining the most. So they're like, well, I don't understand why these 2 offices are so cold. And I'm like, well, it is. So please fix it.
Man,
absolutely.
I thought you were going to say 5 degrees. 15 is that's pretty significant. No question about it.
Nope. So to all the gaslighting bosses out there, you're evil, and we all know what you're doing, and we hate you.
Okay, fair enough. Appreciate that, Kim. Thanks for the call. We just got a text. Xcel Energy in Minnesota planning for similar thermostat control. I'm still in such a honeymoon phase with the weather up here in the summer. It's like when people are complaining about the heat, I'm just like, really? Oh, this is great. I'm loving it. And to your point, when it's cold, I just put on more clothes. I can deal with that.
Yeah,
that's fine. There was a neighbor was complaining about the humidity yesterday, in fact, and I just kept my mouth shut. But all I thought was, I'll take it. Trust me.
It's really not that bad.
I just returned from the surface of the sun in Tennessee. I'm very happy
That's hot.
with what's happening up here right now. Hey, here's something that's kind of hot that's going on. Taco Bell has a new retirement community for young people. Can you believe the words that just came out of my mouth?
No.
Think outside the box.
That's
Go
exactly
Taco
it.
Bell.
Check this out. Taco Bell has a place near San Diego. They're calling it the Cantinas, and it's a retirement community for young people. It's just a gimmick. It's only going to be for a couple of days in August, but they're trying to attract more Gen Z customers into what they're calling Grandma Core. It's literally going to open this place for a couple days. A one-day pass is $50. Or you can go for $150 and literally stay there for 2 nights, and it offers you a quote, elevated Taco Bell dining experience.
Extra sauce packets.
I just thought maybe cloth napkins. I mean, what the food's the same.
Linen. Yes.
Maybe they give you actual cutlery. I mean, silverware. I'm not really sure. But then you have access to various activities like pickleball, painting classes, knitting circles, bocce, croquet, and a wide variety of old school board games. This is like a whole thing in San Diego. Kids, go hang out at the Taco Bell Young Folks Home.
I'm excited for my old person recliner to come.
Yeah.
What old person thing are you guys excited for?
You mean like the one that we already have?
You already have a recliner?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so jealous right now.
It's kind of crazy, and we only have one, and it's like a hot item in the house. Like I'll be like, how long are you going to be in the chair? Can I get in there at all?
Ooh. Is it electronic?
No,
you got to pull the lever?
No, it's just a lever. It's nice old school. No big deal. Found it, saw it. It was just a thing. It was like a spur of the moment thing. It was, I don't even remember the store. We just got it last year. It was on sale. It was the last one. It was like, think this will fit in the back of the car? Yeah, let's take it. And we just brought it home, and all of a sudden I was like, holy crap, this is great.
Nice.
I can remember going back like 1992, and I was in Los Angeles, and there was a guy that worked for our record company, and he invited us over one Sunday to watch football. And I just walked into his house in the valley, and he had a little tiny like bungalow home, and it wasn't big enough to have like 6 people come over to watch football, but it was a nice gesture. And his living room was like a couch you wouldn't let your dog sleep on, just beat to hell, and then it was a huge TV. A small couch and a huge like lazy boy right in front, just for him. It was like a guy who lived alone.
Yeah. And
I remember looking at that chair in front of that TV and thinking, I got that. This is the secret to life. Like, oh my God, because there was just the beginning of like big screen TVs. I'd never seen a TV in a house that big, and he had a full on lazy boy. And this was a guy like in his late 20s. He was not an old person. And I remember thinking like he's got it figured out. He gets it. And I said then, I'm like, if I can ever afford a chair like that, I'm buying one. And by the time, we go out and a few years later, I certainly could have gotten one of those chairs. And then Rosemary's like, we're not getting a big lazy boy. I'm like, yeah, we are. She's like, no, you'll never get out of it. And she was right. I wouldn't have.
You'll just plant it.
I said, all I want is a lazy boy and a nacho cheese fountain. I want nachos on demand and a lazy boy. And you'll never have to worry about me. I'll be fine. I'll be right here.
Right next to it, you just reach over and dip it.
That's what I mean. Just no, she wouldn't go for it.
Grandma and Grandpa were married for, I think, 60, maybe close to 70 years, really long time, and I'm sure that the secret to a happy marriage is having 2 recliners.
Man,
as they did.
You know what?
Yes.
It makes perfect sense.
Yeah,
that does make perfect sense. There was a few things that were real lines in the sand for us. There was the lazy boy. She was just like, we're not doing that. I had a wooden carved beaver, and it was like 3 feet tall, 2.5 feet tall, with a tail that you could remove if need be. And it was just it was standing up.
Why would you?
My nickname was Beaver as a kid. So
why would you need to remove the
I don't
tail?
know. It came apart. But it was a beaver on his hind legs, like standing up. And I saw it at a flea market, and it was $9, and I bought it. And she literally is like, I'm like, no, we're going to have this in the home. And it was for a while. And she literally she just hated it so much. She could not stand it. And I finally relented and got rid of it. And then I've just been mad about it ever since. But the lazy boy was number 2. And then the third one, there's like the 3 things we ever really went at it over. The kids were like 5 and 3. And I went off with a buddy of mine, my kids and his kids, just 2 dads and the 4 kids. And he had a minivan. And both doors would open automatically on either side. And, we just put all the kids' crap in there. It was so easy. And I was like, oh, my God, what are we doing? We need to get this minivan. And literally Rosemary's like, no. She goes, I'm not doing that. I'm like, what are you talking about? She goes, we have plenty of room in our car. She goes, we have an SUV. It does the same. I go, yeah, but this has sliding electric doors, and the back thing just opens by itself.
It's cool.
And it's just easier for kids. And she's like, I can't drive a minivan. She's like, I listen, I've done enough. I've had these kids. I work hard. I have a full-time job. I'm a full-time mom. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. I'm done. And she was working all the time, and then she's home with the kids all the time, and I'm on the tour half the time. I'm gone, and she's just like, just let me just not have a minivan. All I ask. That's all I ask.
Right.
And I had to give in on that one. But every time I'd get in my friend's minivan, I was like, this is awesome.
It's like a spaceship.
And it was. And she's like, what is wrong with you? What dude in a band is dying for a minivan? I was like, I just like the open. It really just came down to the sliding side doors.
Right, the Star Trek.
Because they both did it. They both opened up simultaneously. And I was like, that's what we need. Never did it. Never got one. And but you know what? We're still okay. We're over it. We got past it, kind of.
Yeah.
It's like me and those Queen tickets I didn't get to use in 1978. I'm fine, Mom and Dad. It's fine. It's totally cool. I wouldn't have been a better person if I'd seen Freddie Mercury and Queen on Thanksgiving night, 1978. I'm over it.
Yeah, it doesn't bother you at all.
Not in the least. Not at all. Boy, back to that Taco Bell young folks home. There's a Taco Bell in Nashville that serves alcohol.
I'm hearing this on the text line, too. This Taco Bell Cantina is just going to serve alcohol.
Margaritas?
There's
Margaritas?
Downtown Nashville on Broadway, where everybody goes, where all the tourists go. Everyone's been there. There's a taco. It's called the Taco Bell Cantina, and it's open till 2, and they're serving margaritas and beer and all sorts of things. And I think to myself, who drinks alcohol? I mean, you get drunk, then go to Taco Bell. That's the protocol.
Right, that's the order.
You don't go there to drink their beer. You drink your own beer and then pretend you're sober when you're ordering it.
You cut out the middleman.
I guess so. And now these kids are going to have their own young folks home in San Diego. But you know what? If this thing's a success, trust me, it'll be the next big thing.
I see one coming up north.
I went to Taco Bell and played Clue all weekend. It was pretty awesome. Is Clue? You ever heard of Clue? Mr. Colonel Mustard is this guy, and he likes to kill people with a rope. I'm telling you, man, it's awesome.
They give me a free sombrero.
Yeah. Excuse me. I just had a weird thought that I don't have time to go down because it's just about time that we play a game around here. You know, we like to play a game every day at about 7:50. And today's game, name that animal noise. Watch it. Look at Ryder. You're so excited.
I am thrilled about this.
Ryder's so excited about this. We have tickets to the Anoka County Fair, July 23rd through 28th on the table. And if you would like to compete for your tickets, call 651-989-ROCK, the KQ Talk text line right now. Callers 9 and 2 will compete. Winner gets a 4-pack of tickets to the Anoka County Fair. 651-989-ROCK. Let's name some animal noises. Good luck. Hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. Bruce Springsteen's Blinded by the Light, as done by Manfred Mann. When I was a kid, we, of course, thought he was saying wrapped up like a douche. And I didn't even know what a douche was, but I knew it was a word you weren't supposed to use, and so I thought that song was cool.
Everybody thought that.
You singing the song about a douche? Don't say it too loud, douche. Oh, my God. I'm not really... Do you know what a douche is? Same era of my life when we all started walking around. It was just one of those things we did. We all had a condom in our wallet. Not within years of using it, but just in case. You just never. I'm going to be in 8th grade now. You never know when sex is going to break out.
Right, you get that little ring imprint on your wallet.
It's ridiculous. It's the same way I used to always. I would only wear high tops because a basketball game might very well break out at any time, so you had to be prepared.
Converse.
We Converse at first, and then of course eventually made the switch to Nikes, and then had to be corrected that it was Nike. Come on, we all had that. We all had the same experience back in the day. We're about to experience something brand new here on the KQ Morning Show. We've got tickets, a 4-pack of tickets to the Anoka County Fair. It's running the 23rd through the 28th of this month, and we're going to make you earn them. And Tony, please lead us down the gilded path.
All right, this is a new fun romp that has Ryder all bananas. We're going to play a little animal talk.
Wow.
We're going to play a sound.
Pretty special.
You tell us what critter of Mother Earth's animal kingdom utters that signature sound.
Like it a lot. I'm hoping that we just get at least a couple of points on the board here. It's going to be a tough one. All right, who is contestant number 1?
Number 1, we're going to invite Shane from St. Louis Park.
Shane, good morning.
Hey, good morning.
What's happening?
Oh, we're just making my 1-year-old breakfast here.
Oh,
getting ready to eat.
Very nice. What's a 1-year-old have for breakfast on a Thursday?
He's having scrambled eggs and strawberries, and we kind of just go through the fridge and look around and feed him things as he's sitting there.
I remember those days very well. Scrambled eggs and strawberries sounds pretty good to me right now. Shane, we are ready to play for a 4-pack of tickets to the Anoka County Fair. Are you ready to name that animal noise?
I am ready.
Let's do it.
All right, here's your first critter. Maybe an easy one to begin with.
Yep. Okay, that's a loon.
That is right.
Bam.
All right.
Well done, Shane. I hear that noise and I picture Jane Fonda.
Right.
I mean, it's just
on Golden Pond.
Yeah, it's that simple. It's just that Pavlovian.
Remember when that came out? Her That's when she was doing her fitness series of videos and books,
Yeah.
and she was just striking how she looked at the time.
Oh, yeah. Oh, she was rocking it.
Mm-hmm. All right, it's
Yeah,
going to
I
get.
thought of a loon as soon as we started the show. I was thinking a loon.
We got to have a
And
loon
what
in
else?
there.
All right, there you go. You're on the board, Shane. Let's go.
Jane is going to get a little more mysterious now. Here's number 2.
Wow.
Maybe an elephant?
What do you think? Nope. Dang.
Oh, no.
That is a barbershop alto falling down a staircase.
Yes, precisely.
Yes.
Exactly.
No, what do we got there?
That is an elk.
That's an elk.
Oh,
Mighty
an
elk.
elk.
Chauncey didn't perk up. He's got an elk antler chew thing right now that he's working on.
Oh, so
over
does
there.
Lulu. That's a
Didn't he-
good product.
Boy, they last forever, too. God bless them. All right, Shane. 1 for 2. Let's go.
It's not easy. Number 3.
I know this one.
The human armpit fart? No?
That's an orangutan.
It is not an orangutan. It's a nice, healthy, hefty tortoise.
It's actually
Oh, okay.
is actually one of, and I hate to be a reptile person because we're so friggin' weird, but it's one of my husband's tortoises humping the other one.
Okay.
That's hilarious.
Hold on. Now, is that so? Wait, is the noise we just heard? Is that coming out of the tortoise's mouth, or is that the
Yes.
sound of the hump?
If only it were the sound of the hump.
Okay.
But yeah, that's his. I'm real excited right now knowing.
Wow,
It's tortoise coitus.
that's a band name for you. Oh my god.
Yes.
You know what? Seriously, I'm going to work on that. Like this weekend, Rosemary will be like, all right, never mind. Moving on.
Hey, something new. Spice it up.
All right, Shane, let's get back on that horse.
Number 4 out of 8.
Good Lord. I think that 1-year-old's got a thought.
Oh, he wants more eggs.
That is the sound of River eating his Cheerios. No, was that some kind of fish? That was a dolphin blowing his blowhorn.
Look to the sky. It's a barn owl.
Really?
That's
Oh.
an owl?
Yeah.
I didn't
kinda
even
weird.
hear it. I just heard some kind of swishing noise.
Oh my God, that's the last sound you hear before you watch your cat flying away in the clutches of a barn owl. Good Lord. These are tough, Shane. Hang in
All
there.
right, hopefully I get one more. And
Here we go, Shane.
Oh my God.
That's real.
that's got to be some kind of monkey. A chimpanzee.
Sorry, that is a screaming goat.
Wow. It sure
Yeah, I love it.
is. Man.
So now I just got to hope the other guy doesn't get anything, and I'll be doing good.
No, you're in the driver's seat until until you hear otherwise.
All right, Shane.
All right, thank you.
No,
Hey,
stay with us.
We're not done. We're not done.
Oh, no, you're not done. There's more fun to be had. This is a good one. Like a drum solo. Another one for Steve to work on.
Holy crap.
That's definitely some kind of ape, so maybe like a baboon.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Ah.
That is the laughing kookaburra bird.
Wow.
Oh,
it
Kookaburra.
sure is. Man,
Oh, that's a good one.
that is a good one.
2 more for you, Shane.
Okay.
Oof.
What's it sound like?
No clue.
Did you play it?
Yeah.
Here, I'll crank
Oh,
it
I
up.
didn't hear. I didn't hear anything. That was a noise of an eagle flying around.
Flying around. That is a rattlesnake.
Ugh.
Oh, my
Man.
phone.
I feel like I
didn't
should
hear
have
that
gotten.
one.
Yeah, I feel like somebody should have gotten that one.
Very disturbing. You could see Steve cringe
Not
as soon
happy.
as that noise happened. All right, here's your last one, Shane. Maybe you can bring it home
right.
on this.
Man, this is
What do you
tough.
think?
That is the rhinoceros mating call.
Attaboy.
That's a great guess. That is an aardvark.
Oh, okay.
Not a common sound. You got the loon, though.
Man.
Oh, I got one.
You got one, brother.
Darn
This
right
is,
you did.
That's all, I think that's all
I'll keep my
anybody
fingers
got.
crossed.
We should probably give Shane a score based on creativity because keeping it up mostly in the primate family, I feel like he should get some points for that.
Well, we're going
True.
to see. If the judges have to go to style points, Shane, you're sitting
Yeah,
pretty right
yeah.
now. So, all right, sit tight. Enjoy that egg and strawberry combo for a minute. We're going to put you on hold. It's time for caller number 2. Tony, who have we got?
Caller number 2 from Merit Chef Body Shop. He's supposed to be working. Let's bring on Tom.
Tom, good morning.
Good morning.
Man, you got your work cut out for you, brother. These animal noises are tough. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
I like that confidence. Let's do it.
have to go to style points. Shane, you're
Turn that radio down, brother.
Oh, we got to turn the radio down.
Yep.
strawberry comment from you. We're going to put you on the hold. It's time for
Hey, that's you.
I hate the way I sound on the radio.
Like deja vu all over again.
All right, here we go, Tom.
All right, Thomas, here's your first one. Going to start off with a little easier one.
That was an easy one?
That'd be a wolf.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Oh, yeah,
a timber
baby.
wolf, but yes, a wolfie.
I
Very
was stumped.
Were you?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, Tom, number 2. Excuse me.
Oh, Jesus.
No,
It's a Honda Elsinore.
not Jesus.
350cc.
It's a coyote.
I am sorry, that is a sea lion. A sea lion.
Man, that doesn't sound too sweet and cute
No.
and friendly at all. All right, Tom, let's go, baby.
Tom, number 3. Red alert.
Herb Alpert.
Is that an eagle?
Oh, close. Kind of in the family. That's a peacock.
A peacock.
Yes.
Wow. This is impossible, this game.
It is tough. Here's your next one.
Oh, God, that's got to be some sort of sea lion or something.
No, or something. I'm sorry. That is a lynx. It's very
was a
disturbing.
lynx? Oh, my God. It sounds like an outtake from Jason Friday the 13th.
Yes, or someone going over Niagara Falls.
It's a lynx or it's teenagers being hatcheted to death in a cabin. If only the gremlin hadn't been out of gas. All right, Tom, you're 1 for 4, brother. Let's get back on this horse.
This one's a cool one. You want to
I
hear
think that sounds like a screaming squirrel monkey.
Wow. I like it. No?
No, that is a bobcat.
A bobcat, go figure.
This sounds like a guy making a fake noise,
Yeah,
doesn't
it
it?
does. That I can see Jim Carrey's face when he's played that noise.
All right, your next one, just 3 more to go.
Oh my God, these are awful. Every one of them.
Wow. I don't know. I think that's a screaming eagle.
Sorry, that is a armadillo.
Okay.
Screaming armadillo.
I had no idea armadillos were capable of such.
I know.
I thought all they did was roll up in a ball.
No, you turn them over, and that's the noise they make.
Wow.
They're perturbed.
I'm never going to turn over an armadillo.
Don't do it. All right, 2 more to go. Here you go, Tom.
Oh,
What do you think, Tommy?
Give me one more.
Do it again. Is it Bigfoot?
I'm going to guess.
What do you think?
It's a fisher cat.
You may be right. It's a red fox.
Oh, no, that's not the same thing.
Are they similar? Are they friends?
Fisher is a member of the weasel family, and they make a noise that'll just haunt your dreams forever. All right, so Tom, this is your last one, brother. If you get this one, you got to win, and if not, then we've got a tie. Good luck.
This is a tough one. Very obscure.
Those are frogs.
Oh, that's a good
No,
guess.
pigs.
Frogs, no pigs.
I thought that was the recording. That's my phone at Bonnaroo. It was in my pocket. And that was the late night rave.
Believe it or not, that is a jellyfish.
Oh,
A jellyfish.
Yeah, isn't that weird?
Oh, that's completely impossible. Where's Marlon Perkins when you need him?
Right.
While Tom, my cabana boy, helps me with some fresh grounded coffee, the jellyfish attacks. All right, so Tom, you got one right. Shane got one right. What are we to do? Do we go to the judges for style points, or Tony, have you got a tiebreaker for these gentlemen?
I do have a tiebreaker, but what do you think?
They're both very stylish. I think they both really did. I think we're going to have to come to the old school tiebreaker to make this as fair as possible. All right, so guys, Tony's going to ask a question. Shane will answer first. Then we'll have Tom answer. Closest to the right answer is going to be the winner. Good luck to you both.
All right. We're going to keep this question in the animal kingdom. Fellas, how many feet of earthworms does a baby robin eat in one day? How many feet worth of earthworms?
Shane, what do you think?
Let's say 3 feet.
Shane says 3 feet. Tom, did you hear the question?
Answer first. Then we'll have Tom answer. Closest to the right answer.
Tom, did you hear the question?
No, I did not hear the question. You cut out.
All right, Tony.
Tom, how many feet of earthworms? Turn your radio down, Tomo.
One day.
Okay, hold on.
How many?
What? Keep it
How
down,
many feet
brother.
of earthworms? Go ahead again.
How many feet of earthworms does a baby robin eat in one day? How many feet?
I would say
Tom, come on, man.
Tom,
You gotta
hold on
give
a
us an
second.
answer.
No looking it up.
No.
Man,
3 seconds.
talk about a
say
pregnant
14 feet.
14?
14, I like it. All right, where are we at, Tony?
It's 14 feet.
It is?
Is it really?
Yes.
It's 14
What?
feet? Holy smokes.
14 feet
Nice,
of
Tom.
earthworms.
But Tony's like, doesn't even know how to, you're beside yourself.
I'm
with
stunned.
The right answer. Tom, coming
What?
through with 14
win.
feet. You were right.
What?
I got it, huh?
You're the
did.
winner. Tommy Google, they call him, with the
Tommy Google.
4-pack of tickets to the Anoka County Fair. Shane, great effort today, brother. Sorry it wasn't quite enough on the tiebreaker, but both you guys did great.
I'm going to see if I can rustle up some more Anoka County Fair
that'd be
tickets, because
great.
this demo derby is nothing to sleep on. It's legit.
Wow. All
Yeah.
right. Fair enough. Thank you, gentlemen, both. That was great.
Great answers.
And by the way, what a test of that's a test for the ages. That's tough, man. Some of those noises are really jarring.
Yes. They will haunt me. They will haunt me all night.
Yeah,
If I don't sleep overnight, it's because of Tony and his screaming armadillos.
I'm gonna be freaking out over the sound of armadillos and the sight of Jane Fonda. I'm gonna have nightmares all night long now. Thanks for that, Tony.
That's a good combo.
Speaking of animals. Oh, this is awful. Oh my god. Listen, I totally get ride shares, Ubers, Lyfts, what they are. Every now and again, you get out and you realize you left something behind, and then the next person who gets in hopefully discovers it. But I'm going to draw a line. I'm going to draw a hard line in the sand. If you leave this in your Uber, you're dead to me. Hang tight.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. I am not a rideshare driver, but if I were, boy, I'd have a real problem. A Minneapolis rideshare driver the other day called police because somebody got out of his car. And as people do oftentimes, you get into an Uber. Sometimes you look down, there's a phone on the floor, or there's a purse, or there's a wallet, or there's a set of keys. I mean, people leave things behind in Ubers or Lyfts all the time. I have gotten into, well, actually, this is a while. I got into a taxi one time, and there was a case that held a flute. Someone had left their flute, like a,
flute.
Yeah.
Right.
I was told the taxi, I go, hey, there's a thing, and what is it? It was in New York, and it was a flute. And I never found out if the flautist ever figured it out. But anyway, my point is, it happens. But a rideshare driver in Minneapolis the other day, a customer got out, went about his merry way, and then the driver was aware that he didn't feel alone, I would imagine, but he turned around, and in the back seat of the car was a boa constrictor.
Okay.
Yeah, just saying that makes I'm nauseous at the thought of that. If I turned where I am right now in this studio and saw a boa constrictor coiled up or stretched out or in any form or fashion in the studio, my immediate reaction would be to freeze, and then I'd probably throw up. When I see snakes, my body just goes crazy. It's a real thing with me.
Well, they would look at that as just special sauce before it consumed you.
Oh my God! I mean, it's just and by the way, the Minneapolis police shared a post on Facebook of the two officers. One officer holding the boa. They came and got it. They got on the scene. They called animal control. But the officer's just holding the snake, like, isn't this cool? Hey, this is awesome. And the answer is no, it's not cool.
No, it could take a nasty turn. Depending on the attitude.
I live in congested urban areas for one reason, because I'm not going to see snakes of prey here. That's why. I mean, if there were no snakes on the planet, I'd probably live in the middle of nowhere. But I'm just trying to limit the opportunities to be attacked by snakes, and so I live in cities. That's pretty much what it comes down to.
What if you had an incident of some sort when you were really young that triggered that?
But no one. If it is, that my family's keeping it from me, because I don't have. I'm the only snakeophobe in the family, but I don't recall anything else. I do have one memory of walking home from the pool with one of my older brothers, and we used to cut across the golf course. And there was a black hose, like a golf course. There was a sprinkler system, and there was a hose attached to it, and it was just on the ground, but it had been not rolled up, but it was just like, it was like in a circle pattern, like a hose just on top of itself.
Yeah.
What am I trying to say? Coiled up. Thank you. Like that. And my brother goes, "Look out! It's a snake!" And he pointed to a black hose, which I said, "That's a hose, dummy." And he goes, "No, behind you." And then there was a large snake behind me, but for a second I thought he was just trying to scare me by looking at the hose. And it was what we had there. There's a black snake, and they were pretty big, but I knew them not to be venomous. They weren't aggressive, and that did freak me out. But I already had the snake thing going, and he knew that, which is why he said, "Look out, snake!" So anyway. But that's my earliest memory of having a snake, of actually approaching and being in the presence of an actual snake.
Well, that's disturbing. I stepped on a bat one time in a parking ramp, and I'm not kidding you. I just kind of grazed it, and I looked down, and its mouth was open, and it went, ay, 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 ay. Not exaggerating.
A bat?
Yes.
A bat. Did you intend to, or you realized you were stepping on something and looked down to see what it was?
Yeah, it was an accident.
Wow. Had a bat in the carport once, after school, afternoon, and on the wall of the carport there was what looked to be, I couldn't tell if it was like a clod of mud or the beginning of a bee nest or something. And I'm looking at it, and my brother's looking at it, and I'm like, what is that? What is that? And he said, it might be a bat. And I go, no, there's no way it's a bat. And so what I did is, by the rules and regulations of being a 10-year-old, I picked up a broom, and I walked over with the handle, and I poked it.
Yeah, you got to poke it.
And sure enough, one wing just extended.
Oh, slowly unfurled.
And boy, we both were like, there was like notes you can only hit when you see a bat wing expand, you're like, ah! As we ran away. Yeah, that was a pretty wild one.
Nosferatu.
But he did not make a sound like the sound you made.
The Frito Bandito.
Yeah, that's a pretty wild one. And see, my thing with snakes is like a boa constrictor, a 3-foot boa in the back of a ride share. You're thinking, well, what's the big deal? What can it really do? Well, it can't do anything now, but you gotta nip it in the bud because it will grow big enough to where it can turn on you. And, case in point. Now, an Indonesian gentleman in South Sulawesi went out last week. His wife didn't return home as planned, and he took a walk through the village looking for her. She left the house saying they had a kid at home who was sick. She left the house to pick up some medicine. Didn't come back for a while. He said, hang on, let me go see if I can find your mom. Walks out and then finds her pants and slippers on the ground and thinks, well, that's a little strange. Then he saw a 30-foot, as the reports are 30 feet, so it probably was 20 feet, which is still 19 feet longer than it needs to be.
Too many feet.
A python laying in the bush with a very large belly. And then he noticed his wife's legs sticking out of the python's mouth.
No.
Yes.
Oh.
She had been taken by a python. He called on the local villagers. They helped him slice the snake open, but it was far too late.
Swallowed her.
Because before the python swallowed her, of course, it crushed her. Took the life out of her lungs, for God's sakes.
Why did it take off her pants and shoes, though?
Well, it's synthetics and linens and the plastics. Yeah, it's like pythons are very health conscious.
Right, didn't want to gag.
I mean, come on, man. This is like these things happen, and it's on a regular basis.
Gosh, what a visual.
Last year down in the Amazon, they discovered the world's largest, a new form of green anaconda that they'd never seen before. They discovered an offshoot, a variant, if you will, of a green anaconda, and it's the longest, biggest snake ever filmed. And there's video of a guy swimming in this river right next to this snake, and the snake's head is every bit as big as a human head. I mean, it's just horrifying. I watched that video, and people say, like, well, you shouldn't watch the video then. No, that's the thing. I have to watch it. I can't. It's like I have to know what's out there. I have to maintain vigilance at all times.
Oh, if you want to torture yourself, watch a movie, I think, from the 90s called Anaconda with Ice Cube.
Oh, I've seen bits of it.
Have you?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
you won't like it.
I flip channels with like anybody. I've come across Anaconda in the day. No, it's no good, man. There was a guy in our neighborhood as a kid who did have a boa constrictor, and he was walking down the street one day, and a couple of my brothers ran to see it, and they put it like around their shoulders and like thought it was cool. And I never got within 30 yards of the thing, but I remember just like that was me challenging myself to just be 30 yards away from a boa constrictor that was clearly harmless because everybody was playing with it like it was a kitten.
Well,
yeah, but then again, if we turned our backs and there was a kitten there, we know what would have happened. Yeah, I don't trust snakes. Hey, speaking of snakes, last I checked, they make darn sure not to let snakes in at the rodeo. Is that right, Ryder?
That is true. Yeah, yeah. I know you're all about the animals except the snakes. So I think I've got you covered.
Okay.
And we had such a blast going up north to Anoka.
We did.
I got the hookup.
Okay.
It's the Isanti Rodeo tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night, the Isanti Rodeo.
This could be fun.
Yeah, it's going to be sweet. There's going to be a lot of bucking, which I'm a fan of.
Of what?
Hold on. Is this a euphemism?
No. Man, the horses, all the fun rodeo stuff.
All right, so Isanti Rodeo tomorrow night. We're going.
Night.
That's what we're letting you know.
Yes.
We're on our way.
Lisa Miller is a huge fan of this event. She can do nothing but recommend it. Isanti Rodeo is a blast. It's legit. It's where it's at. We're going.
All right, fair enough. I'm looking forward to it. So again, just to clarify, no reptiles will be on hand.
No, can't spook the horses.
All right. See, that's what I got to do. I got to live on a horse farm. You don't want to get those horses spooked. So we'll be at the Isanti Rodeo tomorrow night. We'll be having a good time. I assume so. We'll be watching animals throw people off their backs.
Yeah, because we love and people are jerks sometimes.
Yeah,
I'm sure that they're going to deserve it.
All right, that's going to be great. I'm looking forward to it. I have been
Meet Steve Gorman. This could be fun.
I've been to one rodeo in my life, and it was 40 years ago. 42 2 years ago. So I'm overdue.
You're due.
Yeah,
yes.
I'm long overdue.
Excellent. Good deal.
All right, Isanti, here we come. That's due north as the crow flies.
Absolutely.
All right, I'll be there. You're going to be there?
I'm going to be there.
All right. Is Lisa going to be there?
Sadly, no, I couldn't talk. She's like, I love it, but I already got plans, and they involved like watching some kids, and I don't dabble in that sort of thing.
For a second, I was like, wait a minute, Lisa Miller's going to be there. It's going to be awesome. That's all right. We'll have a good time.
We absolutely
miss her,
will. She'll have a whole guide for us. She promised.
All right, fair enough.
Yes.
We'll get there. We'll arrive in style. Sadly, we will not, however, be arriving in the world's fastest car, for which there is a new contender. We'll tell you all about it. Hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It's Thursday, July the 11th. Zep is out for the day. If you're just joining us, we're hoping he's back with us tomorrow. Get better soon, as in immediately, brother. We miss you hanging around the studio with us. Ryder and I are going to be going up to the Isanti Rodeo tomorrow night.
Hot tip on the talk and text line. We got to avoid, looks like Highway 65. So thanks for sharing. Any other recommendations you have on the Isanti Rodeo, 651-989-ROCK.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Plan accordingly, because I ain't driving you.
All right, fair enough. I'm looking forward to it. I went to a rodeo in the early 80s. My high school girlfriend's dad raised cutting horses, and he was a big rodeo guy. And I watched him ride those horses, and the cutting thing where you separate you have a pen with some cattle, and then the guy on the horse, he separates one of the calves from the rest of the herd, and then you try to keep it from getting back. And it was kind of weird and crazy. And then I watched it in person, and I was blown away. I was like, oh, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. And then there were some bulls throwing guys, and there was some bucking broncos. There was a whole thing. And I've never been back to one since, so I'm very excited about tomorrow night.
Hopefully they'll have a rodeo clown. They're gutsy. They're stuntmen.
They're completely crazy.
They're out of their minds.
Yeah, I imagine you're going to have all of it. But I'm looking very forward to that. First time in Isanti as well.
Same, actually. I'm, from the South Metro. Went to high school in Lakeville, so this will be my first time in Isanti too.
Okay, well, I'm from the South, so I mean, I'm definitely going to be my first time up in Isanti. I'm looking forward to
Steve Gorman. This could be fun.
See, it's going to be a blast.
Yes.
I'm going to avoid 65, and then I'm going to drive the speed limit, and I'll be a conscientious member of society as I drive in accordance with local laws. What I will not be doing is driving 300 miles per hour. That's because I'm not in the fastest car currently available. There is a dude in Sweden. His name is Christian von Koenigsegg. I don't know.
Sure.
Christian Von K, let's call him.
Yep.
And he is responsible for what they call hypercars. For the last 20 years, he's been building a whole bunch of cars that go real fast. And his newest model, computer simulations are suggesting he will be able to reach 311 miles per hour in this new car. 111 miles per hour. That is kind of crazy now that they know exactly how the aero, A-E-R-O, is going to work on this car. He said, I don't know exactly how it's going to behave at such speeds, but we could even exceed the simulation estimates. So they have these computer simulations that says it calculates the rolling resistance of the tire, the drag of the car, the correct load on the car at 500 kilometers an hour, which is 300 miles per hour, if we get there, and we manage to pass that in ninth gear before hitting the rev limiter and still having some space in the chassis dyno. I don't know what any of that means.
Sounds really sciencey.
Limiter?
Super sciencey, but it does mean that the car will be able to hit 311 miles per hour. There's a Bugatti that reached 304 miles per hour in 2019. That is now set to be discontinued because of course it is. How many people...
No safety issues?
How many people with the ability to buy a car that goes 309 miles an hour actually want to own that car? I would say not enough to continue the production of said car. call me crazy. Where do you drive a car? Forget 300, cut it in half. If your car can do 150, where other than on a racetrack are you ever going to feel comfortable putting it up at those speeds?
Well, you go into Costco. You got to be careful, though. You don't want to hit a patch of ice. Patch of ice.
Now, I've been on the what do you call it in Germany?
The Autobahn?
The Autobahn many times. I've never driven on it, but I've been on a lot of tour buses on the Autobahn, and I have seen cars, and more impressively and freakishly, motorcycles fly past as if we're sitting still.
How mad are those drivers at the tour bus? Because you're just slowing down everything on the Autobahn.
Well, but staying in the right lane. You know, the drivers they're not there to make enemies, but you'll hear the driver. They'll be, you'll be driving along, and then every now and again he'll say, like, "Here comes one," because he looks in his rear view, and it's always the motorcycles are the ones going the fastest. And they are going, I mean, the bus is going 60 miles per hour, 65, and it will be passed as if sitting still. You feel like the thing's going past you at least 100 miles an hour faster than we're going. And it probably is. I mean, they're going as fast as any vehicle I've ever seen that wasn't on a NASCAR track.
Sure.
It's insane. So this car going 300 plus miles per hour, I can't fathom what it would feel like to be in a car going that fast.
No, I really, like, sitting here in the studio, I'm like, yes, put me in the driver's seat for that. I'm going to go. But then as soon as I had that power, I'm probably sure I would just pee my pants and then be going, like, I don't know, maybe 95 at tops.
I rode in a pace car at the Indy 500 on Carb Day, a couple days before the actual race. I hopped in a Corvette pace car with an Indy driver to do 2 laps on the track. And he got it over 200 miles an hour, like 210. And that is more than enough for me.
Did you feel the G-forces?
Yeah, on the curves, the bank turns.
Yeah.
Way steeper than I realized. You know what I mean? And then as he gunned it as he was driving, he's like accelerating into the first curve. And that's when I was like, I'm really regret this decision to jump in this car right now. I would love to do something different. Absolutely mind-boggling to me. 651-989-ROCK is the KQ Talk and text line. Tony, who's on the horn?
Kelly has a vehicle tale to share.
Kelly, good morning.
Good morning.
What do you got for us?
So 15 years ago, when the Prius started to get really big, my son is in the military, and he was home with his wife.
Okay.
We're going to dinner. We're meeting my husband's father for the first time since my husband was 13.
Okay.
We're on the road going, and there's all these Priuses around us. And there's a silver one in front of us. My son, being military, says, "Oh, Dad, those are just vagina cars. You don't want one of those." We get to the restaurant. The car in front of us was my father-in-law in a Prius.
Wow.
That's pretty good.
It was awesome.
That's great. Thank you for the call.
You guys have a great day.
Thank you. I bought a Prius. I had a Prius. I got it in 2013. I was on tour a lot that year, and I rented a few cars along the way. Different towns have to do stuff, and I rented a Prius, and I actually really enjoyed it. And then I rented another one, and what I enjoyed was my vision. I could see. It felt like it was almost like being in a car without a top. Just the windows, the mirrors, for whatever it is, my perfect height, however I sat in the car. I just remember thinking, like, I've never been aware of how bad or poor or good the vision in all directions was, but I just loved how easily I could see everything. And I drove them around, and then of course they get great mileage, the whole thing, get home from the road, and I needed a new car, and so I got a Prius. And immediately my kids are like, "What in the hell is wrong with you?"
Because you could have gone the super cool route and got a convertible.
Yes, I could have just done that.
And then seen everything.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have made fun of you for driving a Prius.
I just and I really enjoyed, and I just got to say I enjoyed how it drove, and I felt good, and I liked it. And they just mercilessly mocked me for years, and I finally got rid of it. I only had it for a couple years, and then I upgraded and didn't upgrade the Prius. I mean, I got a different car. everybody was much happier. But and I haven't really thought about it since, but when I had it, I really enjoyed the car. I did realize it was time. A friend got in the car with me, and immediately before I'd even turn it on, they go, when you put it in reverse, does it beep like a golf cart? And you know what? It did, actually. I put it in reverse. Yeah, the car would it beeped like a golf cart. And that's what I went, yeah, okay, I got to get rid of this thing.
Yeah. I mean, it might have been cooler if you just had a golf cart.
That would have been, might have to it. If I just cruising the neighborhood in a golf cart is always cool. Speaking of people cruising around in cars, check this out. A car dealer in Connecticut has got a bit of a headache right now. A customer has a very rare, apparently a 2018 Chevy Camaro that for one reason or another is quite rare. He turned it in to get a little bit of work done, apparently. This car has 989 miles on it total. The gentleman who owns it is taking care of it with very explicit instructions when he dropped it off for service. This car is not allowed to leave this lot, which the idea, I wouldn't think you'd have to tell somebody that. You bring your car in for maintenance. It would never occur.
Stays at the dealership.
Yeah, it would never occur to me to say, like, hey, make sure no one drives this off the lot. Like, no, you're just taking it to service. They're changing the oil, rotating the tires, and give it back. This, again, a 2018 Camaro worth $100,000. Well, a couple of the employees decided, yeah, let's take it out for joyride. Let's just see what happens. They went out, hit the open road. A senior advisor was behind the wheel, floored it, got it up to 90 miles an hour in town, lost control, crashed into a guardrail. The car has been totaled.
No.
Oh. Wow.
Ope.
Yeah, and you got to wonder, like, is this something that happens more often than you might think? I'm afraid to ask that question. But
I think that it has to. So I also, as Zepp will tell you many stories about doing radio in South Dakota, also did some radio in South Dakota, spent every weekend of the summer at some random car dealership. Mm-hmm. And these dudes who are used to driving brand new, super expensive cars all of the time, just zip around the parking lot like it's nothing. They're getting real close to other cars. It would drive me insane. I'm like, what if you crash this car? That's $50,000. You're out. But they seem to be used to it. So I guess it doesn't shock me too much.
Yeah, I guess it's just too tempting, but at the same time, it's not your car, dude.
I think I'd have trouble resisting, though. I mean, because you have to take it out for a test drive, right? Yeah. You got to make sure all the maintenance actually, fix the problem.
I guess that does check out. You do have to give it a test drive, but still, man, that's tough. Imagine being that guy. You turn that car in. And you know what? If he hadn't said, make sure it doesn't leave the lot, it would have been fine. When you start throwing that out there, karma just comes back and bites you on the ass. Like, hey, these guys are professionals. Treat them like adults. When you don't treat them like adults, then they don't act like adults, and then they crash your car.
Yeah, I could see that.
I'm just picturing the Ferris Bueller garage guys in that Ferrari, airborne. That was pretty great. 651-989-ROCK is the KQ Talking text line. Do we have another call?
Our wonderful listeners have many tales to tell about their vehicles. Brian, Tony, and Dave. Boom, boom, boom.
Brian, good morning.
Good morning. How is everybody doing?
We're great, brother. What do you got for us?
Well, the TV History Channel has a series called Modern Marvels, an episode on salt. A car at the Barneville Salt Flats in 1935 reached 368 miles per hour.
1935?
Wow.
If I remember correctly, that's what they said, and I'm going, oh, my God.
What in the world? Now, I know the Bonneville Salt Flats, like the Blue Flame, like those rocket cars, but those aren't actual, like, cars you could drive down the road. That Blue Flame, I think, went like 600 miles an hour or something. Yeah. That's just a rocket with a couple of wheels.
Oh, but Bonneville, the less friction or whatever the reason with the salt. But
that's
368 in 1935. So
that's mind-boggling to me. Thanks for sharing that. Appreciate the call, brother. First time I was ever west of Salt Lake City and saw the Salt Flats, it was actually at night. Driving the van, and it was a full moon night, and then suddenly it was like, what are we surrounded by? Because at night it's salt, it's white, and at first I thought it was like a body of water, and then we're just driving on the highway, but we're so confused. Like, what are we on the moon all of a sudden? And then at some point somebody goes, "Oh wait, the salt flats," and we're all like, "Oh wait, that's real? Like that's a real thing?"
Oh, it's wild.
It's so bizarre to see. It is like walking on another planet.
You open your mouth, you can taste the salt. on your tongue.
Absolutely. Yeah. You can. It's in the air for sure. Do we have another caller, Tony?
Yeah, Tony is up next, and then Dave.
Tony, what's up, Tony?
Well, I just figured I had to call and talk to you guys again because you're a pretty cool crew.
I appreciate that, brother.
I had a 2001 Yamaha R1. It was pretty quick.
Yep.
And this car going northbound on 35E decided to slow down and let me catch up to him. He wanted to race me. And, I get to the car, and it's like a old 70s Firebird or whatever, 5-color primer.
Yeah.
And we take off, and he gives me the old hold-on finger, like, we're going to wait a minute. And we get up to a certain speed. We're doing about 110 miles an hour, and he says, go. And we got up to 183 miles an hour, and that car never left my side. My bike was fast, but that car was amazing.
What?
And
that is
you would have
insane.
never known that thing had what it had in it just by looking at it. Complete sleeper.
That is incredible. There wasn't a bunch of Coors in the trunk, was there? Man, that's amazing.
I'm sure there was probably some old boxes of beer in there somewhere.
Somewhere. That is a 180. And where were you? What road were you on?
We were on 35E northbound at County Road 14, and we got to Forest Lake in about 3 seconds.
Yeah, I bet you did.
Well, were you white knuckling in it? I'd be scared.
Well, I pulled off the exit at the same time. We both got off at the same exit, ironically. And I pull up next to the guy, and I said, what do you got under the hood? He just shrugs his shoulders and drives away all quietly.
Cool cat.
Yeah. Holy smokes. All right, well, thank you for the call. I'm glad.
Yeah.
No, I'm glad you made it off that ride in one piece, brother. Be safe out there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, found out my Angel could do 183.
Cool. Wow, that's it. Awesome. Thank you, brother. That is, the fastest I've ever been in a car was that pace car, but that was on a track with a professional race driver behind the wheel. But the second fastest I've ever gone on a vehicle was on the back of a friend's motorcycle. And he was doing like 125, and it was terrifying.
Of course.
And it wasn't cool, and I was not happy that he did that.
Oh, yeah.
Just got up to that speed and then came right back down. Just wanted to get my attention.
He didn't tell you. He isn't like, hey, we're going to go real fast right now. Hang on extra tight.
Nope. We were just on the highway. It was a quick ride, and it was just like, and he just punched it. And I was like, and I just kind of freaked out a little bit. I was like 20, the summer I turned 21, and he's just going and going. And I was like, this is really awful way to die.
Fingerprints are burned into his abdomen.
Pretty much. Yeah, no question about it. That was nothing short of horrifying. It's funny, like I'm thinking about these guys, this dealership taking out a car. I got a ticket for running a red light when I was in high school, and I went in to contest it. So I'm in the little traffic court. And one of the other cases, I grew up right near Fort Campbell, huge Army base. And there was a couple soldiers in there in front of me, and a guy had just gone to right outside of Fort Campbell, Oak Grove, Kentucky. There was a car dealership, and a soldier had bought a Camaro, and he had just gone in. And the story they were telling the judge about because he had been in a crash, he was driving off the lot in his brand new Camaro, as proud as he's ever been. And as he turned out onto Fort Campbell Boulevard, he just punched it and lost control and immediately rolled that thing into a ditch.
Oh.
He had literally driven the car like 214 yards before it was upside down. And he was telling the story, and I'm just looking at him like, oh, my God. Fantastic.
Yeah. No, that's crazy. It's like the drive that you're doing, driving your brand new Camaro off the lot is worse than taking your first kid home, I imagine. Like, I would just try and be super, super careful.
Yeah. Well, with the first kid, hopefully you're in a car you've already driven. You have at least a bit that much control. First drive home from the hospital with Colin Gorman, I did not properly, and I didn't have his car seat buckled in correctly.
Yeah, you don't know how to do it.
Didn't realize till we got home. I was like, I was the most dangerous driver of that kid's life. Was his first time ever in a car.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. That was, of course, CCR. Between 68 and 71, Creedence Clearwater Revival had 9 top 10 hits on the Billboard charts. They never hit number 1, but 9 top 10s in a 3-year period. Churning out some spectacular 3-minute numbers. That last song, Bad Moon Rising, of course, it's like 2 minutes. I mean, Fogerty's like, yeah, I've said enough. That's pretty good. We'll just cut this one right here. The Eagles, another all-time great, iconic American band. They had 5 number 1 hits in their career. And if you want to see the Eagles at the Sphere in Las Vegas, and honestly, who wouldn't want to see anybody at the Sphere in Las Vegas? We're going to give you a chance for that very thing. The Eagles are playing the Sphere, a whole bunch of shows this fall, and you are possibly in the running to win a trip for 2. That's going to include flights, a stay at the Venetian Resort, Las Vegas, dinner, 2 tickets to the show, plus a VIP experience package. If you text right now the national keyword EYES, EYES, text EYES to 95819, you can enter for a chance to win. Get on it. Bob Dylan will probably never be at the Sphere. I'm just going to go ahead and throw that out there. I don't think Dylan is going to take the never-ending tour to the Sphere.
No?
It's not really his vibe.
Doesn't do a whole lot for them visually?
I don't think so. I don't think he could. I can't imagine him getting into it. He's more of a theater guy these days. I think he's very happy there. The last time I saw Bob Dylan was in 2022 in Birmingham, Alabama, and it was great. And I say that as a Dylan fan who has seen him some nights where it was terrible.
Okay.
So I'm not like everything he does is amazing, but it was one of my favorite shows of the last 10 years. One of my favorite Dylan shows for sure. Played piano the whole night. He was very engaged. The band was stellar, and it was really, really, really great. That said, as I mentioned, it was 2022. It wasn't like seeing Dylan, peak 70s Dylan, like, say, 1974 when he was on the road with the band. I would love to be able to go back and see some of those shows. I can't do that, but I can listen to some of those shows because there is a new box set about to hit the streets. Bob Dylan is releasing a 27-disc box set.
Can you believe that?
27? 27?
Yeah. Full recordings from 27 of the 40 gigs he played in 1974 with the band. Oh.
So this is most of the tour then, right?
27 of the 40 shows are in this set. This box includes 417 of these songs have previously been unreleased in these recordings. If you want a smaller bite, there's a 3-album highlights box that you can get on vinyl. This is definitely for the people who just need to complete the collection. Like,
nobody's listening to all of these, all 27.
Oh, I can give you a list of names.
Really?
I know some people who will.
In a row.
Of these 27 concerts, there are 21 different versions of Lay Lady Lay alone. Oh, wow. There's a live album of songs from that tour that a lot of people know called Before the Flood. That's a great live album. So that's like select songs from all the shows. If you just want 27 of the shows in order, you want to pull out a disc and go, oh, here's Newport, or oh, here's Oakland, or whatever it is, that's going to be there. This is only, by the way, his 3rd largest box set. Yeah, there are 2 bigger. There's the 36 set CDs chronicling the 1966 tour with Dylan and the band. And then, of course, there's the 47 CD complete album collection, which was released in 2013.
47. Wow.
Yeah, I know people who have literally a Dylan room or a Dylan wing of their record room. You know, it's
Really?
like, yeah,
people with the man caves that's
every single
devoted to
thing.
one team?
Yeah, they have that. Well, they've got the whole album collection. They've got the music room, but then there's a whole section that's just for Dylan because they have to have every single thing. I'm thinking of a buddy of mine in Nashville who has, you go to his house and you see Dylan box sets from Japan, from Korea, from South Africa, from all over the world, things that were just sold in certain markets. If he sees them, he doesn't even, it's not even a question of how much is it. It's just, do I have room for this in my suitcase?
Must have.
Yeah.
Do you ever blind taste test him and then put in one and see if he can tell you what set that is from or what show that is from?
No, he's not a deadhead.
Okay.
but don't do that with a deadhead. 73 Scranton. I've played 3 seconds of the song. How do you know what it is? I look at deadheads like there's those old the old rabbis that they would say you take a pin and stick it through any page in the Old Testament and any page it opens they can tell you, they can read. You know what I'm talking about? There's just stick a pin through 6 pages and they can tell you what word it's going through on each page. That's like deadheads with all their tapes. You know, it's just like, okay, great. I'm glad you know the difference between Scranton and Harrisburg from 72.
You just got to take their word for it too.
Well, of course it's not like I'm going to do my homework. Right. Like you say so. That was Jerry was playing Tiger that night. Well, whatever. It's a guitar. It's got 6 strings. I don't know. Call me crazy. But anyway, yeah. So the Dylan completists out there, good luck. Enjoy it. Have a good time with that. Let's look back on this day 110 years ago, July 11th, 1914. Babe Ruth made his major league debut. George Herman Ruth. He was 19 years old. He was a pitcher for the Boston Red Sox. You always hear about the trade when the Red Sox traded him to the Yankees and then the curse of the Bambino. Mm-hmm. What about the fact that the Red Sox acquired him in a trade from my Baltimore Orioles? The Orioles were actually the first team that Babe Ruth played for. Man, I mean, no one talks about the curse. But if you go to Baltimore, if you go to Camden Yards, there's a statue of Babe Ruth because he was born literally right across the street from where the Orioles now play. And so he didn't really do anything for them, but you got to take advantage of the Babe whenever you can. 110 years later, we're still talking about the guy.
That is crazy.
He had a pretty good run. On this day in 1924, a guy named Eric Liddell set an Olympic record, winning the 400-meter sprint in 47.6 seconds. He did not compete for the gold medal a couple days later because it was held on a Sunday, and that was his Sabbath. This is the story that was later told in a movie in the 80s called Chariots of Fire, which in the 1980s, everybody I knew was obsessed with that movie. And I went to see it and had a hell of a nap. Just slept in the theater right through that bad boy. Great moment of if you want to see guys run on the beach, topped only by Rocky III, Apollo and Rocky running on the beach just a few years later.
I'm scared.
Wow. Didn't see the Stallone coming, but there it was.
Get the KQ Morning Show podcast wherever you listen. 92 KQRS.